What up, Space Fam? Goes in here for AnimeUproar, and today we're going to be looking at 10 interesting facts about Himiko Toga. I have plenty of videos in the MHA Facts series, so make sure to check out that playlist if you want more MHA Facts. I'll link that playlist at the end of this video and in the description. If you want me to make more MHA Fact videos, make sure the United States have smashed that like button to let me know. If you haven't, be sure to subscribe, and this is crucial, hit that notification bell or else you won't know when future videos come out. If you have a specific character you want to see a fact video about, make sure to let me know in the comments. In regards to manga spoilers, there will be some in this video, but I'll try to keep them to a minimum. Now without further ado, let's jump into it. For fact number 1, let's take a look at Toga's name. Horikoshi puts a lot of thought into the names of his characters. Even names like Tetsu are expertly chosen by this naming master. Toga's last name contains the kanji to, meaning migrate, and ga, meaning self, while her first name contains the kanji for he, meaning wear or put on, mi, meaning somebody, and ko, meaning child. Her name clearly hints at her quirk, since she leaves behind her usual physical form in order to quote-unquote put on somebody else's physical form. She always speaks of wanting to become other people she admires, which implies leaving the old her behind. The child within her name points to her being naive. Although she's willing to hurt and even kill people, she often behaves in a childlike manner. Except Himiko Toga gets super excited and cheery about blood rather than Barbie dolls. She's like Juliet if Juliet wanted to stab Romeo, drink his blood, and wear his skin. For fact number 2, let's take a close look at her quirk. Her quirk is called Transform, and it, not surprisingly, lets her transform into other people after consuming their blood. The more blood she consumes, the longer she can maintain that person's physical form. She sounds like them, and she can even recreate their clothing. However, the clothing would appear over her own clothing, giving her true identity away. For this reason, Toga must take off her own clothes before using her power. She can actually switch back and forth between multiple people if she has access to the blood of more than one person. Another interesting ability that Toga has access to is the ability to erase her presence by holding her breath and clearing her mind. If the opponent averts their attention for an instant, she can supposedly vanish from their view using this ability. Himiko Toga's quirk has also undergone an awakening in the manga. Now, not only can she look and sound like the person she's transformed into, she can now use their quirks too. So she's like a trickier and crazier Neito Monoma now. For fact number 3, let's take a closer look at the equipment Himiko Toga uses. Toga has one of the most interesting outfits in the series. She wears a schoolgirl outfit which is directly contrasted to the mask, knives, needles, and blood machine that she carries. Toga is great at using knives. She can use them effectively in close combat or throw them at the enemy. In other words, she's proficient in tantojutsu, which is the use of a short knife or dagger in combat. There's a history in Japan of warrior women learning tantojutsu. Toga is a unique, modern, and pretty crazy nod to this history. She also has a blood-sucking machine that is attached to a number of needles. She carries 2 large green tubes on her back that store the blood, and the tubes connect to 6 cylinders with needles that can be fired at opponents and retracted. She can also take a cylinder in her hand in order to directly stab a nearby opponent. The machine is set up so that it starts sucking blood as soon as a needle connects with an opponent. The blood can be stored for later use or consumed immediately. This machine is extremely useful because it lets her strategically save people's blood for later and use them for espionage purposes or combat purposes. For fact number 4, we are going to be taking a look at Himiko Toga's statistics, which have significantly improved over time. In the first data book, Toga got 1 out of 5 in power, 4 out of 5 in speed, 3 out of 5 in technique, a 3 out of 5 in intelligence, and a 1 out of 5 in cooperativeness. In the newer Ultra Analysis data book released in October 2019, Toga scored a 1 out of 6 in power, a 4 out of 6 in speed, and this is when we start seeing the significant growth. Instead of 3 out of 5, she got 5 out of 6 in technique. She jumped from a C to an A+. Along with her improved awakened quirk, she also seems to have gotten smarter. Her intelligence used to be a 3, but it jumped to a 5 out of 6, going from a C to an A. Lastly, instead of cooperativeness, the last category was the customized category of unruly hair, and Toga got 5 out of 6, aka an A in that. No surprise there. Some people on Instagram, at AnimeUproar, were surprised that she didn't get a perfect 6 out of 6 in unruly hair. But to be fair, she does at least have her hair in a bun, and furthermore, perfect scores are actually rarer than you might expect in the Ultra Analysis data book. Even Deku, our protagonist, got no perfect scores. Like Toga, he got a 5 in intelligence and technique. which shows just how skilled Toga actually is now. So now that we know that both of these characters are similarly smart and talented, let me know if you ship them in the comments below. For fact number 5, let's look at Himiko Toga's popularity. I really love how shonen manga include these popularity contests. I feel like every show or franchise should have these regularly because they're so fun. In the case of My Hero Academia, in the second and third Japanese popularity polls, Toga came in 19th place, making her the most popular League of Villains member after Shigaraki, the main antagonist of the series. In the fifth and most recent Japanese popularity poll, released in December 2019, Himiko Toga jumped all the way to 9th place. She was one spot behind Ochako and one spot ahead of Momo. She was voted the second most popular girl in the series, even though she's a villain, and that's truly impressive. Now let's look at the English popularity results and see how the West views Toga compared to Japan. In the second English popularity poll, Toga got higher than she did in any Japanese poll. She was the most popular girl in the series and got in 3rd place overall, behind only Izuku and Bakugo, and ahead of Todoroki. So right off the bat, it seems that the West was more obsessed with Toga, but surprisingly, in the most recent US Viz Media poll, Toga didn't even make it to the top 10. Let me know how you would rank Toga yourself. For fact number 6, let's take a look at the initial sketch that the manga artist Kohei Horikoshi did of Himiko Toga. These sketches are always fun because they show us what the character might have been like and how they evolved over time. There were a number of hairstyles Horikoshi experimented with, including having Toga's hair completely untied and even in pigtails that would shoot out from the sides of her head. The untied hair version probably would have gotten a perfect 6 out of 6 in unruly hair. The pigtails version didn't have unruly hair at all, but Horikoshi ended up going with the messy bun hairstyle, which has become Toga's signature look. At one point, Toga was supposed to have all sharp teeth like a shark, rather than just the 2 vampire-like fangs that she ended up with. Her character's personality and even her quirks stayed pretty consistent. Horikoshi knew that she would be a bad guy who always looks like she's in love and wants to become the person she admires. He knew that she would get incredibly excited when she saw someone bleeding, and that she'd be a sadist with distorted desires. Actually, within these initial sketches, there was a clue about Toga's quirks awakening. Right away, Horikoshi planned for Toga to be able to use the quirks of the people she transformed into. It seemed like he decided against this because she could only transform physically into her target for a while, but this changed when her quirk evolved recently in the manga. Fact number 7. Horikoshi had and continues to have a lot of difficulty with Himiko Toga. Horikoshi has said that Toga is the hardest female character to illustrate, especially because of her unique eyes and messy hair. Even from the beginning, he had a hard time deciding how she should look and what her name would be. It wasn't until the last minute that he decided to make her hair the way it is. However, despite all of that difficulty, it was worth it because she ended up being one of the most popular characters in the series, one of the most cosplayed anime characters at cons, and one of the most complicated and interesting characters in the story. Her personality, like her appearance, is full of contradictions. Fact number 8. Horikoshi designed Himiko Toga to be a yandere. A yandere is a figure that pops up regularly in Japanese fiction, and it can be defined as a fictional character who fits the archetype of being genuinely romantic, loving, kind, merciful, sparing, sweet, and gentle, but is at the same time brutal, psychotic, or deranged in behavior. The psychotic tendency can be both sudden and ever-present, often used for both comedic and dramatic displays of character." End quote. This figure of the yandere captures the contradictions I mentioned earlier, and these contradictions make it hard to judge Himiko Toga in black and white terms. She's definitely not a purely good character, but she's not portrayed as a purely evil character either, and that is what makes her so fascinating. When she does show kindness to Twice and other members of the League of Villains, you can't help but recognize her as a complex human being, with the potential to do good and bad. For fact number 9, let's look at some nods and possible influences for Himiko Toga. The mask Toga wears for her villain outfit seems to be a nod to Bane's mask from The Dark Knight Rises, a Batman film that came out in 2012. Horikoshi is a huge fan of Western works like Star Wars and superhero movies, and these works regularly appear in one form or another in My Hero Academia. He is a known fan of Batman, and it is very likely that besides looking cool, Toga's mask is another example of his love for Western superhero comics and movies. X-Men also inspired him, as you can see in the idea of a superhero school, and even in Class 1B student Jurota Shishida, who is a non-blue clone of the Beast from X-Men. Like Mystique from X-Men, Himiko Toga is a complicated female villain who can take the shape of other characters and also happens to have yellow eyes. Again though, no blue skin. Let me know if you see any other possible nods or inspirations in the character of Himiko Toga. Lastly, fact number 10 is a lightning round of random facts which I rename depending on the character I'm discussing in the particular video in question. In honor of Himiko Toga, we shall dub it the yandere round. The yandere round will begin in 3, 2, 1, let's jam. Toga's birthday is August 7th, making her a dedicated Leo. Her yellow hair and cat-like eyes complement her lion horoscope nicely. She was 16 years old when the story first began, but she is currently 17 years old in the manga. Her height is 157 centimeters tall or 5 foot 2 inches. She is the youngest member of the League of Villains, and she loves blood and pomegranates, a fruit that symbolizes life and fertility, but also power, blood, and death. And that is it for today's fact video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to smash that like button to let me know. If you haven't, be sure to subscribe, and this is crucial, hit that notification bell or else you'll miss future MHA videos. Let me know what videos and characters you would like to see next in the comments. For more MHA content and important updates on new seasons, make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at AnimeUproar. A special thank you goes out to our patrons over on Patreon who help us survive YouTube issues and who help make videos like this one possible. I especially want to thank our Pro Hero tier patrons, the one and only Gilgamesh, Nothing But a Fan, Jason Wilson, King Zeldris, $50 Beat, Anatoly Kazatsky, Alpha Dio, Angel Cruz, and Team Sparky65. And are the 1 tier patrons, the ones who stand atop all clans: Steven Ingrata, Alola Natem, Matty Mac 239, Makoto Kun, The World, Steelers, Tyson Quirino, and the school bus. Thank you all so much. If you enjoy our work, you can support more of it by going over to patreon.com/AnimeUproar and becoming a patron today for as little as $1. If you do so, you'll get your name featured in future videos alongside these amazing people right here, and you'll even get access to our private patron-only Discord where we talk about anime, life, and of course, dank memes. So check out patreon.com/AnimeUproar, link in the description if you're interested. You can also now join the YouTube channel and support more content that way if you prefer. Whichever way you choose to support us, you can get the same great benefits. Until next time, see you, Space Cowboy.